The B team, and we're back.
We're back. Maybe not better than... Oh, actually, I think that we are better than ever. Even with the injury, I think we're better than ever.
Okay, I'll give a little backstory here. So, yes, I am in a sling right now. Probably because of the karma, because I came at the Steelers. But me and producer Gassy, we went snowboarding today. It's probably been my first time in about 2 years. We had great runs. So we got there. We were probably hitting the slopes around like 10 o'clock. We did 4 or 5 runs. We were killing it. We stopped, got some drinks, and then we went back up. We were buzzed up. And last run, almost done, I caught an edge. That means my front of the board dug into the snow, and I went forward, and I busted my shoulder. I landed on my shoulder, went to the hospital, I'm in a sling for about 4 to 6 weeks, so got used to this. I'm now matching with the hat, so we'll find ways to be creative, more stylish. But we're okay. So it's an AC separation. Apparently, an average AC separation is about 4 or 5.4 to about 7 millimeters. Mine was around 7.5, 7.4. So it's a larger separation. I'm going to be in this for, again, 4 to 6 weeks, and I'm going to do physical therapy, and we'll be back. So this sucks, but we also had a great day of football. Yeah, great weekend of football.
Yeah. Physical therapy-wise, are you looking into any places where, like, maybe Deshaun Watson? Did you talk? You should reach out to him and see where he went, because I'm sure... It seemed like a good place.
I think Giancarlo Stanton would be a better option.
Robert Kraft.
No, I don't want to go for any of the tugs.
7 rings.
And the rugs.
7 rings.
He does have 7 rings, but like Giancarlo, like he's been there a lot.
Yep.
So I feel like he can give me some good recommendations to see where I can get a good physical therapist. So I'll hit him up, and I'll probably be all he's good for.
That's fair. Yeah.
He's not going to be any good for the Yanks.
No. That's why we got Juan Soto.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm wearing a flannel. I can't put on a shirt. I can't lift my arm up. Should I try?
You know what, Mike? We're getting snow this week, but after that, don't do it. Don't do it. Come on.
That's it. That's like it right there. I swear to God, because then this just starts like.
I like how he said that's
devising up a concoction.
Dude, this is what the dude just did. I'm going to show you what you just did.
I know.
Ready? This is what you did. Because you were trying to lift your arm up, right?
Yeah, it's bad.
This is what you did. This is how you rose your shoulder. See what I did?
I'm trying.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Not moving. The shoulders not moving. You're just.
But you know what? What I've noticed the last like couple of hours is I have to flare my elbow out like that. Like I can't just like shoot up like this. No, I have to flare out my elbow. But this starts to just bug on me. So, yeah, this is ass because it's my first upper body injury. Everything else has been lower body. Fractured ankles, freaking sprained MCLs, and all that good stuff. Rolled ankles constantly.
This is a good time to remind people that when we get injured on this show, we report the injury as if we're hockey players. We never say what it is. It's just upper body and lower body injuries here. Yeah. And then we explain exactly what it is.
Yeah, so, I mean, I will get back on the slopes at some point. I just have to be very careful because I don't want to keep fucking myself up. But I had a great time, guys. I'm super happy I went because I loved snowboarding. I loved getting back out there. The conditions were fantastic. It wasn't that icy. Maybe a couple of like greens and blues because that's all really people go on. But the blacks were nice. But yeah, so that's what happened today. And yeah, I can't put out a shirt. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. You don't need a shirt.
Everything else I could put on, but...
Show off that winter bod.
Yeah, baby. That winter bod's coming crazy. Now, I'm actually thinking about pulling a Frank the Tank and just going on walks. I might try to run if it doesn't
I feel like the run you should hold off on. Yeah, how are you going to run?
Yeah, I'll be running like a pirate or something. Maybe like Kratos in God of War. I don't know.
Pirate Pete.
But, the reason why I wanted to come on tonight... because of,
we know,
right?
We know.
Are we going to... Let's not get into that because we have some new news. And it's important
Let's go new news, and then we'll get into everything else.
Okay, yeah. So do you want to... Okay, yeah, I got it. So right now I have about 4 new current events that are pretty important in the NFL. Number one, I would say, is Caleb Williams declared for the draft.
Big.
So now, besides all of his family and himself wanting a stake in a franchise, I don't think that's going to matter whatsoever. And nor do I think he's going to get it, because they're going to grade him like any other quarterback. The Bears have a decision to make on their hands, and they got to start doing their due diligence now. That's number one. Number two, Mike Tomlin is returning.
Yep, we'll get into that later.
Yep, last year on his contract, so we'll talk about that when we talk about the game that just happened. Number three, Bill Belichick interviewed for a head coaching job with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, he did. And we will also be getting into that later.
Okay, and number four, more so because I think this guy is probably one of the better OCs turning into a head coach that will be probably a potential stud, Ben Johnson.
Yep.
OC of the Lions. Obviously didn't go through the interview process yet, but once the Lions are done, hopefully they're not, we'll be interviewing with teams.
Yes. And let's start with Caleb. This dude's a train wreck.
Yeah.
Like, my God, bro. You are a college athlete right now. You're no better than any other college athlete at the moment. You are in school. To think that you can just demand everything and be like, I will go to the NFL draft if you trade your pick to an NFL franchise that's worth way more and has way more of a legacy than you do in the NFL is wild.
And nothing happened. Like, the Bears said nothing, and he still declared for the draft. So.
I hope that the Bears and the other, well, it's not going to happen, but it would be awesome if he just got iced out for the whole first day. It went to the second round before he got picked. That'd be incredible. It won't happen because someone will take him.
For sure. I mean, the chances of that happening are probably like 0.001%.
Yeah.
But I still think the Bears take him. We're not, again, we've been down this rabbit hole bunch. I don't think you think twice about it. You go, you get that guy. I know a lot of people and Bears fans, it's civil war on Twitter and everywhere else, saying, oh, keep Justin Fields, this and that. I think you start fresh. You have the opportunity to get your franchise quarterback. This is him. Maybe he can get his off the field BS together. I mean, it's not really crazy, but just wanting a ownership stake in the Bears and everything. Like, just get that drama out of there and just look at the quarterback itself.
And another piece of the puzzle is that rumor is that Justin Fields will be traded for the 12th pick in the draft, which that would give the Bears a significant leg up on a lot of people in the draft.
They find a way to get a first rounder for Justin Fields. You hands down, you don't think twice about it, you do it. I don't even care if it's like
first pick.
I don't care if it's like late 20s. I mean, that might be a little bit of a stretch, but if you're getting a pick for Fields between 10 and 20, I think you hands down get it. Honestly, no, I changed my mind. If you get any first round pick this year or next year, you take it.
Well, it's going to be this year, and if they get rid of him, they'll have the 1st, the 6th, the 9th, and the 12th pick in this year's NFL draft.
What's the 6th from?
Don't they have the 6th? Or am I wrong?
I think the 1st and the 9th.
1st and 9th.
Yes.
All right, so it's 1st, 9th. I just added 6 in there, 69.
There you go.
Rolls off the tongue.
Makes sense.
So 1, 9, and 12. And so this is what I wanted to get into. Do you think there's a world where they can still get Marvin Harrison Jr. should they take Caleb first? Or do you think he's gone in the first 5?
No, I think they could still do it.
I think so too.
I think they would have to trade up.
That's exactly what they would have to do, because there are going to be quarterbacks that go right off the bat, maybe like 1 to 4.
Yeah.
Like 1 to 3, 1 to 4. And then Marvin Harrison's going to be one of those that you look at Jamar Chase. Like, you're going to take him at 5. Like, they took Jamar Chase at 5. I don't see Marvin Harrison falling any further than that. But the Bears could trade up and they can make it happen.
And the Bears, they looked decent at the end of the year. It's not like they came into the end of the season as this dog crap team that has the first pick. You know, like, this is a very different scenario that we have with the Bears. And yeah, they're going to probably get rid of their quarterback and be restarting. But you're getting a guy that's a generational talent, and then you got 2 more picks to follow that up. Like, the Bears are in a great spot where they can trade that pick and still be a very good football team and still build their team. And they know what they're doing.
Yeah, no,
you can tell the new regime knows what they're doing because this team is much better.
Ryan Poles has that trade with Carolina was a great start right off that. And people don't talk about this either. And I knew I was kind of a hater on this too, because they had a chance to take Jalen Carter and they didn't. They traded that pick to the Birds. Darnell Wright has been a stud for them.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a absolute boom for the Chicago Bears. I think he got voted for something, but that's exactly what they needed. They needed to bolster up their O-line. Is it completely finished? No, but they have a very hard decision to make because Matt Eberflus is coming back, but the OC,
Crazy.
quarterbacks coach, they're all gone. Most of his staff is gone, which is a telling sign that if they're bringing in new people, who's going to hire them, either the owner or Ryan Poles, that it's either going to be, oh, we still believe that Fields could be the guy here. We can work on him. He's got almost 4 years now in the league. Or, no, we see this guy, Caleb, being an absolute franchise quarterback for the next 15, 20 years. Like, it's going to be on Ryan Poles and the owner, again, to find that common ground and seeing where they believe the franchise should go. Because, again, now we've seen Fields. We've seen his record, we've seen his ceiling, we've seen his floor. In my opinion, I feel like the ceiling we haven't really found yet because like he's there, like we know he's got the talent, but we've seen the floor. I mean, I believe the floor is much easier to see than the ceiling because if you're not consistent with it, it just makes that process so much harder.
Yes.
So again, all in all, I think you take Caleb. Like he's too good. Like, and you have the ammunition to spare, which is why it's not a bad idea because you get the number 1 out of the way. You got your number 9 right around the corner. Like, if you really, really wanted to trade up, you could do it.
Hear me out. 3 quarterbacks.
3 quarterbacks?
And they run the system that I've talked about this entire season.
I like 2.
3 quarterbacks, and you just run it and run it and run it until one works out.
I like 2.
Just keep it going.
I like 2 quarterbacks.
I don't hate 2 either. You could just rotate, and then there's less nonsense going on in the quarterback room. It's like having a goalkeeper in soccer. You could just rotate them.
I feel yeah, exactly. I feel like the only team that could really pull it off are like the Niners and maybe the Ravens, but they don't want to do that. The Niners would actually make sense though, which sounds crazy because Brock is good. Brock is good, but some people don't believe he's good. But I think that of course this is just some bullshit, but I think Mike Shanahan knows he's the guy, and they have Sam Darnold, so they're fine. They're more than fine.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that Michigan won a national championship running my offense.
Where do you think he goes, J.J. McCarthy? Do you think he's a first-round quarterback?
Only if Orgy goes with him. No, he's not a first-round quarterback. They said that he's the best quarterback in Michigan history. Dude, we all watched the games. Tom Brady did go there.
So you think that's a guy who can fall in like the 3rd round? Like, is he like a late, he's going to be like a day 3 type of guy?
He'll be like a 2nd-round pick.
2nd rounder?
I think someone will reach on him.
Yeah.
But I don't see him showing up and being the guy. He's gonna end up somewhere where he's a backup quarterback, or it's gonna be a Zach Wilson situation. The fans hate him in 5 years.
I don't think this J.J. McCarthy dude should be starting at all. Like, no. I feel like the way, I mean, did he win it all? Yes.
They ran the ball a lot.
They ran the ball. They had a good defense. That's just, you're looking at him. He's making okay throws. Against Bama, that game in the playoffs, I mean, there was a pick right away.
Right
first
away.
Play.
Got so lucky.
That's telling, man.
So lucky.
Yeah, it's telling.
Yeah.
That should have been a pick.
Yes.
But something to be worried about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Another note on J.J. McCarthy, he walks on the field with his shoes off to ground himself and also meditates in the end zone.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know that.
Why do these people do this stupid shit, man?
He's like the frat version of Tim Tebow. He's like the frat boy version of Tim Tebow.
He's like the new age Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
I feel like these players just overthink so much shit. It's like, okay, like God's the greatest. Yeah, like okay, we know that. Like we all love him, but like they like meditating in the end zone, or like when Eli Moore is like hugging and kissing the football. Oh, I've missed you. Like, you motherfuckers are stupid. Like, like what are y'all doing here? Like, come on. Like, read a book or something. Like, right off. Like, get your mind right. Do what you got to do. Like, okay.
Yeah, do what LeBron does. Read The Godfather before every game, but never switch pages.
Read the first page of the book.
Dude's been on page 1 of 7 different books for 20 years of his career.
That's so funny, dude. Like, I feel like there are a lot of pregame rituals that are just so out of pocket, and it's like, what are we doing here? But then some you're like, okay, like that's a little different that I've not seen before. But meditating in the end zone, are you just trying to
know.
manifest that you're going to be there? I mean, come on now, buddy. I mean, listen, I'm not a pro athlete, so what do I know?
I'll tell you one thing. I never did that.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you, what was your pregame ritual?
Dude.
I feel like we
pregame
never got
ritual?
into this.
Bro, you and I would be texting up until we'd be walking out of the tunnel. I'd be sending Snapchats to guys, like messing with my friend. Like, I would literally be talking about like drinking and stupid stuff with you guys until I was literally about to walk out.
Well, that was in college.
No, I'm talking about literally last year.
Oh. Okay, but like besides that, was there anything that you ate before a game? Was there like
No.
Did you
pasta, like you got carb loaded.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so you were pretty like basic like pregame ritual.
There were
guy.
some guys that were very ritualistic. Is that the word for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they would be doing this and that, taping, writing stuff, and I'd just be sitting there like, I can't believe we have to be here an hour and a half before a game for this.
But you're that type of guy, though. Like, you're that type of guy to just, like, block out everything. And you know, like, once you're on the pitch, you're zoned in.
Yeah. Like, I hate
That's just who you are.
Warm-ups have always been my least favorite thing because it's like, all right, we're going to run around for 45 minutes to go back inside and sit there, and then we're going to come back out and we're going to play a game. Like, if I'm coming out, let's just play the game. I hate that. I hate warm-ups.
Do you think stretching's overrated?
Dude, I hate stretching.
Well, you hate
it,
it, but do you think it's necessary?
For some people. But I know people that, like, they have to go through this 30-minute stretching routine to get themselves able to play any sport, any activity. And I just would walk on a field and be like, yeah, I'm good.
Niad Amari always had he always had us doing, like, just regular stretches, but then, like, we would run bleachers and do, like, high jumps and not like suicides, but just like run back and forth, from like out of bounds line to out of bounds line. I mean, did I hate it? Yes, of course I did, but I felt like it definitely like prepared me in a way because we would do it literally right.
That's stuff.
But
I'm
that's
okay
just getting
with.
like
I'm okay with that.
Okay, yeah.
It's like this straight stretching. I'm like, what am I doing? Like
football was like that. It was just straight.
And football,
big time.
Like I just feel like if you can get your muscles firing, so like I'll do a couple sprints, I'll do quick movements, and I'm good to go.
Let me see that again. Let me see that again.
You know, like nice. you're doing, like, just throw me. Honestly, if I was gonna play any sport, let's just do 5 minutes of shell drill, and then I'm good to go. You remember shell drill?
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yes.
Hold the penny above your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just little things like I did like shell drill.
Shell drill was fun.
I always liked the 3-man weave. I felt that
weave.
A very simple but effective warm-up because you get your passing down, you get your runs down, you go for a layup, and you don't think about your running at that point. Like, you're getting your legs warmed up. I think the 3-man weave was fantastic. It's so simple, so easy. Bring that back.
Look at C.J. Stroud's warm up. He warms up with a tennis
everything.
Ball, basketball, baseball.
Never seen that though. Never seen that before.
He's the new age Bo Jackson of warm ups.
Oh man, what a guy! What a guy! God, he's so good.
Yeah.
I really hope that they can somehow pull out a win.
Yeah, me too.
I'm rooting for him.
Let's get into the AFC here. I mean, we got something big to talk about. People did not like us last week. The Yinzers did not like us last week. We had a lot of people coming at us. We had a dude that was painted like a clown that called us clowns for our take. And it just so happens that the Steelers stink. And Mike Tomlin has taken this team as far as he can. I know he's coming back next year, and it's going to be a whole farewell tour. You know, Steelers can't really get rid of him this year. And I understand that he's upset that, like, it has to be – and I'm going to say a few things here. I'm going to let Mike take the floor because this was his thing and his battle, and I just kind of sat back and
yeah, right. It was,
and I backed him up on this.
Thank you.
And I agree with everything he said, but the more and more I look at this team and what they've gone through the last couple of years, and I know that Big Ben's last year they went out first round, bad loss to the Browns. Baker Mayfield, by the way, shout out Baker. And after this season, and after watching that press conference, it gave me Saban vibes, where he says that just over the course of this season, I feel like it's Tomlin over the course of a number of years of just carrying on this 500 thing, but never truly able to put a team out there that can really do it and really be a contender more than 500. It just seems Saban-esque, where it's like it takes a toll on you, and then you got the fans that, I mean, we saw some of them in our comments. You saw both sides of it, but I think we saw more of the side.
80% of the side that was like, you guys are clowns and idiots, and then 20% like they're actually right.
20% of them, and I think there's a lot more than just 20%
now
that have been on him year and year and year for probably almost 5-10 years. And it's been 3 years of Steelers fans wondering, should we get a new coach? Are we going to move on? Like, you see it on ESPN, Fox, and it has to be exhausting for the guy. The whole 500 thing, and just every year having to deal with them. Like, is he going to go? Should they look at a new direction? What's wrong with the Steelers? And honestly, I hate to put it on the fans, but y'all got to, if you're going to be behind a guy, y'all got to be behind him. If you're going to be against them, be like the Cowboys and Eagles. Just hate everything. Because the guy's giving you everything he has for how many years, and he's doing the best with what he's got. The dude hasn't had a quarterback since Big Ben. He's been he's pieced together seasons with Mason Rudolph, who got obliterated by a helmet. No one in the NFL has ever been obliterated by Mason Rudolph's been. And it's that he has a playoff record of 8-10. It's a losing record. So he ain't 500 in the playoffs. So let's look at what matters. Regular season, 500. Great. Postseason, losing record. You know who else has a losing record? Cowboys.
And the Jets.
The Eagles. And he now has a franchise record of 5 straight playoff losses. 5 straight. I don't know what to tell you, and I know he knows that he's a good coach, and I think he's a good coach, and I think if he had a quarterback, this would be a very different situation. But it's time. It's time. I know he's coming back next year most likely now because he said it in a player meeting. But I think after next year, Steelers fans get ready because a new coach is coming.
No, and that's a good point. I liked all the points you said. So I just want to start off here because, again, I was the one in the reel getting chewed alive, by the way. So the people who commented, thank you, number one, for going and looking into our stuff that we post. I don't care that I got called Sal Volcano from Impractical Jokers or what else? Clown. And of course the Knicks sweater, which was actually a Mets sweater.
Yep.
But it was funny. But again, it might have seemed like that I was discrediting Tomlin. Again, we talked about that reel. Like that reel, we talked about the Steelers for maybe less than a minute. Mike Tomlin and the Big Ben ran that. The 2010s, like 2008 to the 2010s, even like they were killing it. They like Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Like I can never discredit that at all. What I think though is the Steelers fans and Logan Priestess, like we were texting and he was saying this and it made sense. And the Fountain Hill boys, I still got your back too. Like, I feel like the Steelers fans, they expect to win constantly. Like, they expect to always be competitive because it's the Steeler way. The Rooneys, they're always going to support Mike Tomlin. They want him. They would keep him forever if they could. Like, how could they not? Because Mike Tomlin justifies an over 500 record. And yes, he is taking these teams with not that many good players to the playoffs. Like, that just goes to show the good coach that he is. Mm-hmm. Now, again, he's about to come back for his last year on his contract. My point was, how, like, this is a question for Steelers fans. Like, how much can you settle for this? Like, we know that he's a good coach, but this is now, again, they haven't won a playoff game since what, 2016, 2017, around there.
Yep.
It's been around there. Like, you've had your 500 seasons, but again, you've lost. This is now your third wild card playoff game in the last, like, since 2020, I believe.
They've lost 5 straight playoff games.
Like, how much longer can you put up with this? And again, this is nothing on Mike Tomlin, but it's sometimes a change is needed. Look what the Patriots did just with firing Bill Belichick. They didn't fire him, but they let him walk. I believe he either got fired or he walked away.
Yeah, it was a mutual.
Yeah, it was a mutual thing. Like, that is the best coach of all time, and they just parted ways. He hasn't had Brady since what? Maybe that's even later than Big Ben, or like even even earlier than Big Ben. 2020. I think it was 2020.
21?
It might have been that. Like, it took them 3 years, and again, okay, he didn't have a over 500 record, but like, they cut the cord. Like, what I just don't understand. That you're not going to find a quarterback overnight unless you're going for Kirk or Russell Wilson. Like, let's just be honest here. Like, if you want, and that I still think they should do that. But
if they go get Russell Wilson, they're a contender immediately. I still think Russ has got something in the tank. I don't believe in him, but I still think he has enough in the tank and enough of ability to get this team over the edge.
Are you taking Russell Wilson over Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph?
100%.
Are you taking Kirk Cousins over Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph?
I'm taking him over a lot of people in the NFL.
Thank you. And this is his last year of his contract. I mean, who knows if they do get a new guy and they actually succeed with him. They probably will because, again, they've had 3 coaches in their franchise history. Like, you might as well go out with a bang because Tomlin's going to take you. He's obviously going to go over 500. He's going to just get by in the playoffs and just get in. Like, if you actually had a quarterback that can help you out with that, again, it's not that easy to find. But this is Mike Tomlin, and Steelers fans love him. They don't want him gone. So instead of settling for just a first-round exit with the players, like, your defense is good. Like, the Steelers' defense has always been above average, but it's just the offense. And I swear to God, I might get you out for this. They are very similar, or I'll say the Jets are very similar to the Steelers. Of great defense, shit offense. We literally had that in the power rankings. Great defense, offense ass.
I would not even say offense ass, quarterback ass.
Quarterback ass? I don't know, dude.
No, because
I don't know.
Both teams have weapons at wide receiver, and you have a great running back. Honestly, it's you're right. It's 2 very, very similar teams. If you put Aaron Rodgers,
it's irrelevant, but like the way I watch them though, like I can see so many similarities where what they need. Like they just fired Matt Canada, they need an OC, they need a quarterback, but they have obviously a better head coach. But George Pickens is a very good receiver.
Garrett
Obviously, he has. Actually, no, I have nothing bad to say about. No, don't you dare compare them.
No, Breece Hall's better. I'm saying,
but you're saying, but the pieces that they have,
that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
for sure,
it's very similar. Where if the Steelers had a Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, one of those guys,
they could do it.
That team is a contender, and I know they made the playoffs, but not one person thought they were going to win. They snuck in at the last day. They got so much help because every team lost.
Exactly.
That was a 1 in a million chance.
Exactly.
And honestly, the NFL might. I'm not going to do it. No, if the Jets had Aaron Rodgers, there's a chance that they would have been the team sneaking in.
Yes.
They might not have even snuck in. They might have just had a spot.
As bad as the Jets seemed, they finished with what, 7 wins?
7 wins.
How many did the Steelers have?
They went 10-7. 10-7.
Aaron Rodgers gets you to 10 at least.
And you know what's funny? Like this goes back to like before we even signed Rodgers, because I was always like, oh, you need to get someone for the long term, like a Lamar Jackson. I thought Derek Carr, stupid of me, but like the NFL is different, man. It's different from like baseball. It's different from basketball. Like you are kind of planning for immediate success. Like I think what the Bucs did with Brady is kind of like a blueprint to what teams can do when they don't have that position settled, but they have a defense and a good O-line to still propel them to the playoffs. Like the Steelers are in that position, but if nothing happens right now, if they stick with Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph or whatever, you're going to get the same exact season, and you're just going to waste years on guys like T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Joey Porter. Like we know that like Joey Porter's a young guy, but like this is what I'm trying to get at. It's like Mike Tomlin's coming back for 1 more year. Why not go find someone like Kirk Cousins, like Russell Wilson? You could throw Ryan Tannehill if you like him that much to at least get you further. Because again, you want to win the Super Bowl. You don't want to just go over 500 in regular season and lose right away. That's not the objective here. Like if it is for Steelers fans, by all means, like you keep doing it. But I want to win Super Bowls. You want to win Super Bowls, right?
Yeah. So
I don't get it.
I just thought about this. Have you seen the movie Don't Worry, Darling? No, we talked about this.
I didn't, but we did talk about it, yes.
So Steelers fans, I think, are living in the victory project from this movie. They're living in a simulation world where they just accept that this is their life, and they're accepting that Mike Tomlin is their life, and they're just going to wake up every day and do the same crap. They're going to send their husband away, and they're just going to do the same thing. They'll clean the dishes, do everything the same way every day, and they're going to wake up every year, and they would rather just do the same thing every day, go 500, maybe make the playoffs, and let's get this franchise record up to 7, 8, 9, 10 losses in a row. Like they are living in the victory project.
So are we though, because we will still follow the Jets no matter
it's
what.
different. It's different though, because you guys move on from people. You actually are making changes.
That's
the difference.
And but that's the thing though. Like I feel like two things here. One,
go ahead.
I have
one more take.
I feel like Rooney. The Rooneys won't. I probably already said this. They won't get rid of him because they just have his back, and I don't think Mike Tomlin is under any pressure whatsoever. No. If he's just going to keep banging out these over 500 seasons, like what pressure is he under? Like Nick Sirianni, he's under pressure now. They just won 11-6.
They were in the Super Bowl 11 months ago.
Yeah, and now he's under pressure.
And
like that's how the
Rooney's
fans have to kind of look at it now. But I get it. They want to.
It's a different type of franchise.
Mike, yes, because again, they have 6 Super Bowls.
And I
get it.
I respect
Me too.
The way that they run their franchise.
For sure. Like I can't hate.
There's something to be very proud of with that.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of teams that it's just rotate.
Yeah,
no. Look at the Panthers.
For sure.
They have
Look
a
at
new
us.
coach every 2 years. Yeah,
Look at us.
You guys.
And yes, I am a Mets and a Jets fan, and I know a shit team when I see one. You guys right now, your offense is ass. Your defense is very good. This is why we keep going at it, because you guys can make that move and actually win and get further into the playoffs, because you guys will have a chance. You had a chance against the Bills. Unfortunately, you lost because, again, you didn't have an offense. Again, right. I'm a Jets fan. I know, like, I shouldn't be saying shit, but this is what I'm seeing. Like, you guys are a very respected franchise. Like, it's time to just cut the cord. After this year, Mike Tomlin, let him be free. Let him go somewhere else. Find an offensive coordinator to take your head coaching job. It's hard. I know that. But it's time to focus on the offense. I want the Jets to do the same thing. Salah is not going to last. I wish he would. But we have to find someone to focus on the offense, because we have 2 great defenses. We don't have to worry about them anymore. They're great. Let's fucking get the offense figured out.
Right.
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna move us on.
That was good.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. No, it was fine. I'm gonna move us on because I feel like we're harping on it now, and Steelers fans are gonna probably break their phones or TVs, however they're watching this. Last thing I'm gonna say is, if Mike Tomlin doesn't get a quarterback, this team finishes below 500 by a landslide.
No way.
Let's move on to the. Let's talk. All right, let's get into this.
I'm gonna fucking sling, and I'm just ripping the Steelers right now in a good way.
Eagles Bucks.
Oh man! Shout out to Baker.
Before we get into anything on the Eagles, let's just go over this game, because let's get into the Bucks first. Baker Mayfield was fantastic.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Lucky at times, but fantastic, and you need luck to win in this.
Dude,
league.
he had 4 drops, bro. He was getting the receivers and running backs were dropping the balls like Rashad White, Kate Otten.
Catch the ball.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, he's putting it on a platter for you. But I will say this: the defense. I love my defense. The Bucs defense has always been stout. Like, they've always been good, and they have experience in the playoffs.
And when did they build that? Tom Brady.
Yeah, and Vita Vea is such an underrated D tackle. He's massive.
People forget about him. I forgot about him
Levante David, like, dude, Antoine Winfield, who got snubbed. Yeah. He's one of the better ones. Okay, he did give up that big play to Devontae Smith, but they played great, man. They played great.
And I want to give them their flowers before we really get into the nitty gritty of this, in the dark side of this game. Baker almost had 400 yards, which I would have won a crap ton of money, because I took a little FanDuel player prop. If Jalen Hurts or Baker had 400 plus yards, it was plus like 6,000. Something crazy. Oh, nice. And he got real close, almost won. I was locked in until the end of the game. I was kind of mad. They started running out, one of them to run.
So what? 10 will win 600.
Yeah.
Wow.
I threw a little 20 piece on it.
Nice, as you should, to go for good reasons.
Yep. But yeah, let's get into the Eagles here, because Bucks phenomenal. I think they had a great run, but it's over now. They'll probably lose. Philadelphia, on 3rd and 4th down, for a team that is so good at running the ball, 0 for 11, 0 rushes, 11 dropbacks. You could not throw the ball all night. Why would you do that? And then on top of it, you started the game so well. Well, what plays did you run? You ran the ball.
What did I say,
You
bro?
ran the ball. What have your fans been telling you for months? Run the damn
What
ball.
did I say last week?
What
Get
has Mike
back to
been
the
saying?
fundamentals. Get back to using DeAndre. I think he had 10 carries, bro. Get back to running the football because that's what you're good at. And that's what your line depends on. Jalen Hurts and everyone depends on the line to get them their first downs and their touchdowns. They should have kept with it. Granted, the Bucs defensive line and their linebackers are flying all over the place. You still got to get the running game going. The amount of freaking wide receiver screens that I've seen is wide receiver screens. It's like, yo,
They set the
Brian
record.
Johnson, enough.
Did you see that? They set the record.
He's Adam Gase. He's
set the
Adam
record.
Gase.
This team got so far away from their identity that you saw guys like Kelsey and Lane Johnson literally looking around like, I don't know what to do. They don't know how. I think was it Jalen Hurts that got asked this, or was it Kelsey? Someone asked, how could you fix, like, how do you think we can fix this before the playoffs? And Jalen was like, don't you think if we knew how to fix this, we would have fixed it? And I think that goes a long way because I think after 3 or 4 weeks of this, I think a lot of people in that locker room realized that they were in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Deep trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame that you aren't able to draft or really fire a coach and get someone in there new, especially in this scenario, mid-season, because I think that would have gone. They need a new voice in there. That leads me to my first question to you. Will Sirianni go?
Yeah, he's gone.
I think
He's
he
gone.
has to. Jalen Hurts
Brian
is
Johnson
2
is
and 3 in the
gone.
playoffs. I know he made it to a Super Bowl last year, but when Sirianni
gone.
and Johnson are setting records for screen passes, the guys that aren't, they can't break tackles and they can't get yards downfield. Like, that is a problem. And how am I sitting here watching games and saying that out loud, and they're watching these games probably 3, 4, 5 times, and they can't figure that out? I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm mad. I feel bad for Eagles fans because the Cowboys game, yes, it was the most embarrassing game that I've ever seen. But the Eagles were way worse than the Cowboys.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Cowboys played way better. At least they showed up and put points on the board.
Yeah.
Their defense might have let them down, but at least we tried to play the game. It was demoralizing.
Number one, Sirianni's gone. Howie Roseman ain't gonna play. Like, you can't finish out a season 1-7, 1-6, 1-7.
They lost 6 of their last 7 games this season.
Oh man, yeah, he's gone, and so is Brian Johnson. They're probably just paying for him to get out the door. Yeah. Sean Desai, I don't know if he stays. I think he does, but if he's part of like Nick Sirianni's staff, tough. If he's his guy, yeah, but. They got issues right now because, again, Jason Kelsey just retired. Yep. You need a center back in there. And their defense needs help. Their secondary, like Darius Slay, I don't know how much longer he's got.
Talk about 2 defenses being so good for so long during the season, collapsing. The NFC Beast turned into the NFC Least on defense real fast.
I don't think the D-line is an issue because they have young guys that are promising and coming up, but the secondary is a major concern, and they need to address that in the draft, in free agency. They got to go after it. And again, was A.J. Brown playing? No, and that hurt, which is why I even questioned why they were throwing the ball even more, because your number one is Devontae Smith, who is a great receiver, but Zacchaeus and Quez Watkins after that, and Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert was letting balls go through his hands.
Yeah,
it was a wet pit.
They had no game plan. They try to get away from the identity if they even know their identity.
And one of the most telling things is, not to go back on Sirianni here, but after the game, Jalen Hurts was asked, "Do you have confidence in Sirianni?" And I know it's a tough question to respond to. But you look at how Dak responded to that question when asked about McCarthy. He gave McCarthy all the flowers. Mm-hmm. He was about his guy, Jalen Hurts' response was that, I have confidence in everyone in this building. It wasn't, yes, I have confidence in Sirianni and everyone in this building. It was very vague, and it gave off the vibe of it was No, not in my coach, but in the guys on this team I have confidence in.
He should not have a microphone in front of him at all.
Dude, I would be
all.
pissed if I was his teammate, because every single game is just he's giving a philosophical thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he said to Dallas Goedert on the sideline.
Did you see that? Oh my God, I saw a funny ass tweet. It was I forget what it was. Something about like I don't remember, but Dallas Goedert. I mean, this is what have I been saying? Where is the leadership?
There's no emotion.
There is no emotion. And like that shit matters to me, dude. Like at least to me it does. Like you need someone who's going to step up, be a man, and lead your team, your offense to fucking score points. I see no emotion. He's not angry whatsoever. Like I'm a little worried about Jalen Hurts because I liked him a lot. And I still do, but you take away all these tush pushes. Does he even finish as a top 10 quarterback? Does he?
No.
Does he?
No, I said this last week. His best ability this season was the tush push, and that got stopped last night, ironically, which was kind of hilarious because he almost had his face ripped off.
We know he's got it though. Like we've seen it. They got to the playoffs that way. Like we didn't see it this year. We didn't see it this year, and I still believe that Jalen Hurts is the guy, but I think Jalen Hurts needs to be more of a team player. It might not seem like it might seem like he is like, oh, you know what we talk about, like he hypes up everybody like pregame and stuff, but I don't see anything on the field. I don't see him angry. I don't see him hyping up anybody. Nothing. So that's just me.
Here's where I stand on Jalen Hurts. I agree with you, and I think that there's a side of him that we don't see.
Of course,
but the problem with that is that he's playing in Philadelphia. That's not a Philly thing to hide your emotions.
No.
He's got to let it out. Philly fans would side with him way more and believe they would have been all in on this team, even with the losses, if Jalen Hurts was really that guy.
They're roasting
going
him
out there and showing his emotions, being like, nah, this guy sucked, this guy sucked. I got to be better. Sirianni's got. If he came out and just said that,
Philly would,
and didn't stand behind a wall and pretend like everything's not going crazy around him, like, dude, come out and just rip people. Philly fans would love you for that. Yeah, they're going to be like, here comes the Philly demise. But that's Philadelphia for you.
That's 100% agree.
Come out and show some emotion. The season's over now. You're 0-0. You're undefeated. Welcome to the club.
It just didn't seem like he cared.
It's time to care about this way more than the Eagles show.
I don't know if you saw him run back like in the tunnels after the game, like just jogged back, like gave Howie Roseman a hug, and then just went into the locker room. Like something about like, I mean, yeah, it's just a run back to a tunnel, but like it's like he was excited to like get out of the game and like just give Howie Roseman a hug and go to like.
It was one of those like.
Yeah, I'm telling you, don't give him a microphone and don't those inspirational quotes and whatever. Like Philly's fed up with it. They are so fed up with it.
It's something to be said about the Philadelphia media, because they are the biggest haters of Philadelphia teams, and I know like everyone knows that. There's no bigger hater than Philadelphia media on Philadelphia teams. And I think that this team put up with a lot over the last 8 weeks, and it's similar to the Tomlin situation, but that's over years. This team couldn't put up with it for 6-7 weeks. And I don't want to bring Dak into this conversation, but he's got that star on the side of his helmet, and he takes crap for how long has he been in the league? 10 years? He takes crap every single day of his life for being the quarterback of the Cowboys. He could have played the best game the other day, and if they lost still with that score, he's still getting all the shit.
That's just the
situation
of the Dallas Cowboys,
and
though.
He still shows up and does stuff and says stuff, and he still shows up and does his best. Like this team, I just feel like quit. The moment that publicity went bad on them, when they were up here and everything was good, the team was flying.
They got
you
content.
see the celebrations on the sideline. You see the coaches celebrate. You see the players hype. They're smiling. They're having a good time. They're dancing. Couple games go bad. All of a sudden, this team is downhill. This team decides. I honestly think they quit. I think they quit in like week 17. I think they were done with the coaches. They were done with the play calls. They were done with the media. They were done getting booed by the Philly fans at their games, which was deserved. But like, you can't quit.
They got content, bro. They got content. They were 10-1. Like, oh, we're just gonna cruise into the playoffs. We made it. You know, like we got this. But Sirianni, I blame Sirianni.
Yep.
You can't let that happen. As a head coach, you can't let that happen.
Yep.
Now he's gonna be. I think he'll be gone, and they gotta figure it out. Listen, it's not. They will get someone who's gonna be good. I mean, they're the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a great team around them.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. It's just now, like, how do we gather up again and get back to where we square one? Yes,
find the identity.
Yep.
So let's, because we're gonna come back to them here. I want to talk about the Cowboys.
Okay,
and
yeah,
my
go ahead.
official stance on them.
Sure.
And then we'll get into the divisional round, guys. So big question on ESPN and Fox Sports: do the Cowboys run it back? Hell no. Do not run this thing back. This is not.
They run it Dak.
Yes, run it Dak. But I think that it's tough to get rid of Mike McCarthy solely because of the way the offense played this year. And I don't think it was the offense's fault. Yes, Dak Prescott had a bad game. But I don't think it was the offense's fault they lost this. Dan Quinn, and this is where I think that we do get rid of Mike. I don't think Mike's man enough to go to Dan Quinn and tell him, this game plan sucks. This game plan's not good. You want to play zone for the first time all year against a quarterback that can pick you apart like it's nothing, and he's shown that the last 4 weeks? That's not the game plan we need. And I don't think Mike McCarthy was willing to do that with Dan Quinn. And I'm just going to read you some stats here. Among 24 quarterbacks with 7 playoff games since 2000, EPA per play. The number one quarterback that had to deal with that, Matt Ryan. Number 2, Dak Prescott. Well, let me ask you, who was running the defenses for both those teams?
Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn.
Huh?
6 of his 7 worst games by EPA came this season in his whole career. 5 of them came within the last 2 months. Now, I don't know if it was him just getting complacent, thinking he's got the best defense, whatever, but that's shocking. That's real bad. And they were putting up, like, MVP numbers against us. MVP numbers. And look at who we played. It wasn't like we played Tom Brady, you know? We were playing Jalen Hurts, who his offense couldn't do anything. Like, that's where it leads me to Bill Belichick. And this is where we're going to get back into the Eagles. I think Bill can come in, and he would have the balls to go up to Dan Quinn and be like, we got to change it.
He's calling the defense, bro. What?
No, I know. But
He's the one game planning.
No, and I know, and I think he would be the one to change everything. I think that he would be the one to make sure the offense develops. I think he would be the one that has more of a voice and could develop this team into a...
He is the voice.
This team's ready to win a championship. Everyone said this is our best shot to win a championship. This team's ready to win a championship. If you bring Bill in, I think he wins one within the first 2 years, or at least gets you to one. And I'm saying NFC championship, not Super Bowl. We just need to win a game to get to the NFC championship.
And go ahead.
But that's where the Philadelphia things comes in, because you look at that team and all their problems, they kind of need a voice to fix it. So I want to hear what you think, and on the whole Bill Belichick for Philly and Dallas, where you think you'd be best, why?
Like, I just, for me, I don't see why Bill would go to Philly. Like, I know it's been like, oh, keep your eye out for Philly and Bill Belichick. It's just like, you got to remember here, like, Bill Belichick is a defensive coach. Like, I know I harp on this pretty often, but it just doesn't seem like Bill and Philly would mesh together, right? Like, I don't know. It's just something. I just feel like him and Jalen, I feel like Jalen's not his type of quarterback when it comes to, like, being able to audible, being able to change plays, and being able to just not rely on the run and, like, of course, tush pushes and whatnot. Like, actually be able to, like, read zones and, like, I don't want to say that because it's not discrediting Hurts, because we know he can do that.
Well,
but
the tush push is dead. Kelsey retired.
Well, yeah, that too. Like, I feel like if there was, like, personally, I think it's the Chargers. Like, I think out of all the teams, it's Los Angeles. Like, because you got a young quarterback in Herbert, and I feel like you know that he has a higher potential than a lot of other quarterbacks in the league. They don't have that bad of a defense, even though they're pretty much like a 32nd ranked defense. They have good players. Like, they just need a voice. They need someone who can actually hold them together and lead them in the direction that they should be and actually get better as players and as men. Like, Bill Belichick would be perfect for LA. I don't think the Cowboys is bad either. Now, does he want to take that upon himself is the question, because he just dealt with the Patriots for 24 years. Does he want to go now to America's team, probably the most popular team in the world when it comes to American football?
So,
or in the country, I should say.
Like, and that's what I was thinking about, because it's like, does he want to deal with Jerry? Does he want to deal with America's team? Well, honestly, Bill, you don't have to prove anything.
He can do anything he wants, though.
He doesn't have to prove anything. So if he goes to America's team, Dallas, and he doesn't win, all right, he leaves, and everyone's still like 7 rings. Patriots.
I feel
that he's the only guy in the NFL that's like that.
Go ahead, guys. What do you got?
I think if Bill goes to the Cowboys, he would be one of the guys that kind of shuts Jerry up. Like, Jerry automatically takes the backseat to Bill.
That's
Bill
true.
is now the franchise. Shut the fuck up, Jerry. We don't need to hear from you. We have Bill Belichick.
I feel like Bill, like Bill is different. We got to remember that too. But I feel like he's at the point in his life where he just wants to go, like, to somewhere he wants to live. Like, look at Tyreek. He wanted to go to. He could have went to the Jets or New York or Miami. He wanted to just go to Miami. Like, I feel like Bill is kind of at that point. Like, we know he's the greatest coach of all time. Go to LA and live in the fucking West Coast, dude.
But if you go,
where does Big Bill want to live?
That's the question. Where does Big Bill want to live?
And that's a big part of it, because
does he want to live in Dallas, Texas?
Go to LA, half your money's coming out of every paycheck.
That's
Come
true.
to Texas, you're getting all your money.
A hardcore Republican.
He's coming to Texas, bro. This man's coming to Texas.
Okay, now I'm a little sold.
Like, tell me, when Bill walks into that room and he looks at the defense, he doesn't say, "You're gone, you're gone, you're gone. We're bringing in this linebacker. We're building up the front way bigger. We're going to stop the run. We're going to make sure the middle of the field's locked up, and we're not giving up 500 yards a game."
Bill Belichick, he will bring in guys on your defense that you have never heard of, and they will be the best players in the league.
And that's what I love about him. Every year, my favorite thing to do is watch what Division III football player this man drafts and turns into an all-pro. That is one of my favorite things. In college,
one safety.
Do you remember Nico Miola? Shout out Nico.
No.
So soccer player at Westchester University.
Is that who commented on our reel?
Fan. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Patriots fan, and he hated that Bill would always draft a dude from like
Cole
some Division
Strange.
III, not like
Northampton Community College.
South Cleveland State University. And it was crazy. But I had a list on my computer at that time for all 3 years I was at Westchester with all the guys that weren't Division I that he drafted. And I would just keep track of their stats every week, and I would just send him reports every week after games. If they did well, I sent him a full report. And I honestly think – no, I didn't do that. Come on, guys. But
I believe it. You're crazy.
But, like, I would be so far in on that. Like, give me all the Division III players that this man can find, because I'm sold. I'm sold. They're going to be all pros on defense. They're going to be better than Micah Parsons.
I don't think people realize how much that we know more of Bill Belichick than a lot of other, like, I don't know, Gassy, I don't know if it seems like this for you, but like when we talk about Bill Belichick, people are like they know he's good, but they don't really know about Bill Belichick. Like, even with like Brady going to the Bucs, like people are like, he's going to be all right. I'm like, dude, they don't know. They don't understand the Patriot way, like how we don't understand the Steeler way, because we don't know anything about the AFC North as much as they do. It's like they don't understand. Like, this man is different. Like, okay, yeah, Brady won Super Bowls and Belichick lost like a couple of seasons. Like, yeah, it's hard to find a damn good quarterback. Like, bro, this is the greatest coach of all time, and it's not even close.
I'm ready to change my wardrobe.
I just want to say
cut off hoodies
about Bill and the Cowboys. If he comes to the Cowboys, Lad McConkey is yours. That is a Bill Belichick guy if I've ever seen one.
Yep, absolutely. And I love the name.
Now, does he, I mean,
I could see him and Dak being like real close.
I could see that too. Like, I feel like Dak would work well with Bill. It's just,
and
he's going to get bounced in the playoffs.
Now, hear me out. You're telling me Bill doesn't love Brandon Aubrey?
He's a fan.
Dude.
He's going to like him.
A guy that didn't even play football in college, that's his type of guy. He's been searching for a guy
Gilmore?
that he could draft that didn't play football in college. That's his guy.
Bill comes to the Cowboys. It's Stephon Gilmore is staying. He's gonna be your cornerback 1.
Bro, Gilmore got roasted in this game.
Of course he did, but Bill will make him back to old Stephon Gilmore. I know Diggs is coming too.
Diggs is coming back. Bland's coming back. I'm not big. I mean, Bland's great, but kind of got toasted all season.
Yeah, he was one of those.
Yeah.
I was saying DPOY, that guy.
That was crazy. Crazy.
But that's good. I mean, listen, I think that's probably going to be one of the more intriguing headlines throughout the offseason is where does Bill Belichick go?
And I love that it's a Philly versus Dallas thing now, like trying to get him. Because I know Atlanta's in, I know LA's in there, and I know he could end up anywhere. But I truly believe Dallas is if Mike leaves, Dallas is a big option for him. I do like, what's his name in Detroit?
Ben Johnson.
I do like him.
Take him in a heartbeat.
It'll be interesting to see what he does at the end of the year.
It is so hard to find good OCs.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue that we have, the Jets. I think that's the issue that the Steelers have. I think that is one of the biggest issues in the league is finding a very good OC that actually doesn't take a head coaching job and succeeds as a head coach or fails as a head coach and then is tossed around the league. Like Ben Johnson is one of these guys who I think, is he going to be a good head coach? Maybe. Like there's a difference, man, and it matters. That's why I always talk about it. Like Mike Tomlin, good head coach. Will he be a good offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator? I don't know. Probably defense, he might be. But just guys like that. Todd Bowles, is he a good head coach? He wasn't for the Jets.
Leader of men.
Leader of men equals head coach.
Campbell.
He's a great DC, that's for sure. But no, it was good talk. Yeah. This was good information because
I think that's a good place to leave off.
This is going to be a lot of what we talk about for the next couple months at this point. So we already got the big headlines done. Draft and then the head coaching carousel.
So, shout out to us. We haven't said one thing about the Jets for the last 3 weeks. It's really cool. Well, I guess we did.
I try to compare with the Jets.
I guess we do mention them every show. But all right.
We'll talk about them later on. See ya.